Hey everybody, Felcher Rash. Welcome back to 365 Days of Irish Tenor Banjo Tunes. Today is day 350, the day we're finally going to tackle the Drunken Sailor, or I'm going to tackle. It's a hornpipe in G Dorian, which is very odd. I don't know if I've played in that key before. It has an F natural, a C natural, and a B flat. So very odd. It's number 305 in the Banjo Buddy's big book of 365 Irish tunes. Probably one of the most difficult ones I've ever played. Certainly coming up in the longest. It's 3 pages with lots of repeats. We have an A part, a B part, a C part, a D part, yeah, and an E part, and they all repeat with separate endings. So it's going to be very interesting. Again, it's mostly because it's one of those ones where, you know, you've got like a B flat. It's just not a spot I'm used to going to, and there's lots of them. It's got a neat tone to it. I like the Dorian sort of tone. It's kind of cool. But it's going to make it pretty tough to get through, especially being so long. So, that said, it's kind of earlier in the day. I bet you it'll be dark by the time I finally actually manage to get a version of this done. On my last tune, I had these ones where there's sort of a pattern of 2 sixteenths and an eighth. So, something like... And Ben Huckenberry made a good note that you could just skip the middle and basically go as 2 eighths if it's throwing off your rhythm a lot. Ideally, I'd like to play it as written. That's kind of the way I've done all of these tunes so far. I've played the first time through as it's written, and then I've added ornamentation or whatever. So I'm not sure if I want to take out ornamentation on a first go. It's a really tough section to get through though, so I might end up having to do that. But that's it for now. We're going to get going on this one and see how we can do. there's a reason I've been putting this off. It's mostly that last part that's just the absolute worst. And I know, like I was saying at the beginning, Ben was suggesting, Ben Hockenberry, by the way, great player, really interesting, and he mostly puts up his stuff, I would say, in a way that's approachable by beginner or intermediate people, but he is a very good player. Has good insight. Suggested I don't do the... but I wanted to try and play it the way it's written, and so I'm actually going to do something really stupid for a song that's super long and I don't like. I'm going to call that my once through slow, even though I made some mistakes, and now I'm going to try and do my own version of it, because I always want to do the first one as true to the Banjo Buddy book version, even though that one had mistakes. So I'm going to add a little bit of ornamentation in some parts, and I'm going to find a way to skip over those sixteenths, and we'll see what we can do with that. Okay, I give up. That's been well over an hour. That's the best I'm going to be able to do. It's funny because even when I tried to skip the little sixteenths, I still got stuck up. It's a thing. That's just a lot. Anyways, that is the Drunken Sailor. It feels like whoever wrote it was probably drunk. And I'm going to give that I'll call that a night. And we'll see you all tomorrow. Slot.